From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
We will miss him a great deal. He was a good pope.
Pope Francis remembered how Montanans from bishops to the Billings Church say the loss is being felt around the world.
Our priority is always going to be human life, and then once we make the knockdown on that fire, firefighter Miller was able to start looking for that cat.
Life-saving oxygen, what firefighters did to save a woman and her cat from an apartment fire.
We just see so many injuries in car accidents that are preventable if car seats are used correctly.
Plus, trading cans for car seats. One woman is helping parents protect their precious passengers. Those stories and much more to come in the next hour. Good morning and welcome to Montana This Morning on this Tuesday, April 22nd. I'm Augusta McDonnell here with Miller Robson.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope the very fresh spring weather is treating you well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel bad out there right now. Very mild for this time of the year. We're around some areas in the 40s like here in Billings. We may cool down just a bit as we go along this morning, but let's take a step back in time. Yesterday, very seasonal with our highs and lows. High of 57, low of 37. Was windy yesterday, and we're still going to see that across the area today. We can have gusts definitely 20 to 30 miles an hour, maybe stronger than that. We got some rain yesterday, about 3/10 of an inch of moisture, adding to our totals for the month where we're still on the plus side, over 3/4 of an inch on the plus side. And for the year, we're in great shape, over 2.5 inches on the plus side. So we're doing really good in our area. We do need some help western and eastern sides of Montana and some northern parts of Wyoming too with the drought conditions. Not a lot of rain in the forecast today, but moving forward, we're still in this unsettled weather pattern, so we still have some moisture to go all the way through at least Thursday, and then maybe a soggy weekend for some as we get to Saturday, Sunday. 38 right now in Billings, so it is cooled down just a bit. Feels like 33. Humidity at 55%. Dew point temperatures at 23 degrees. Winds have calmed down just a smidge out of the west at about 7 miles an hour. Temperatures across the area mainly in the 30s. As we wake up this morning, you can see we have a little bit of rain in our southeast corner and some snow down in the mountains. Here in Billings, not a bad day. We'll see some sunshine. We'll see some clouds. We should stay dry. If we hit 58 today, right on target where we should be for our temperatures. Bit of a cool down the next couple of days as this unsettled weather pattern will kind of ramp up as we head toward the weekend. We'll take a look coming up.
All right, Miller, thanks for tracking all those details.
Okay.
Lots of changes with our spring forecast. Now let's get to our top story. This morning, the world continues to mourn the death of the leader of the Catholic Church. Pope Francis died early Monday morning at the age of 88, just hours after making his last public appearance on Easter Sunday. The Pope using that final address to call for peace in ongoing wars and compassion for migrants. The pontiff is lying in state in a wooden coffin at St. Peter's Basilica and will remain there for several days. He'll then be laid to rest at the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome, where 6 other popes are buried. Pope Francis, who died as a result of a stroke that prompted irreversible heart failure, earned the nickname the People's Pope during his 12 years of leading the church. As of just this morning, the Vatican announced Pope Francis's funeral has been scheduled for 10 a.m. local time on Saturday, April 26th at St. Peter's Basilica. And the passing of Pope Francis being felt by Catholics around the world, and that includes right here in Billings as well, where parishioners gathered at St. Patrick Cathedral for a service in his honor. Isabel Sparts has this story.
The church bells of St. Patrick's Cathedral rang out on Easter Monday, not only to symbolize the holiday, but the passing of Pope Francis.
We're really sad that the Pope has passed, and as they say in Rome, the chair is empty.
The Pope, a religious and holy figure for millions of Roman Catholics around the world, and right here in Billings.
I think my first reaction was just sadness.
For Father John Pankratz and Father Leo McDowell of St. Patrick's, the Pope's passing begins a period of mourning. A quick mass was held with the Pope's photo at the front, one taken by McDowell himself.
It's been exciting to be able to be that close to him and to hear his message. And, I'll remember those times at St. Peter's Square when he has gone through the square and I was there.
The 88-year-old Pope passed away following a stroke and heart failure, and the timing of death on one of the holiest days of the year, the Church says, is almost divine in itself, the day Catholics celebrate the resurrection of Jesus.
As he offered that blessing yesterday, in that sense of the resurrection, sense of the joy. And so him dying the next day kind of helps tie in with that whole idea of that faith in the resurrection.
I think it's a time of mourning, but also rejoicing, and I think he would have wanted that.
The day is extra meaningful for Father John Pankratz, who had the chance to meet the Pope during his seminary in Rome several years ago.
I still remember the date. It was February 3rd, 2020. He smiled and I said, "Buongiorno, Santo Padre," which is good day, Holy Father in Italian, and shook his hand, and he handed me a rosary as he was handing a rosary to all the seminarians who were there.
But for many, it was the Pope's commitment to kindness that will be remembered most. He showed love to the poor, migrants, the LGBTQ community, condemned the wars in Gaza and Ukraine, but overall had a compassion for humanity.
I feel at peace that, he's gone to heaven now. I'm very peaceful about it, but we will miss him.
The job of the Pope is to try to reach hearts, and he was able to do that, not only for Catholics, but even for those who are not. He certainly will have a lasting impact just with the way he represented our Lord and the way he represented the faith.
In Billings, Isabel Sparts, MTN News.
Montana Governor Greg Gianforte ordered all flags flown at half-staff in honor of Pope Francis. In a statement, the governor said he and Montana's First Lady Susan Gianforte are mourning the loss of His Holiness, saying, quote, Pope Francis leaves a legacy of kindness and understanding towards the most vulnerable among us. His humility was an example for us all. Flags will fly at half-staff across the state until sunset on the day of the Pope's interment. And in our local news headlines here, scary moments at a West Side apartment complex yesterday morning. A fire broke out, ending with a woman in the hospital. Let's take a look. Here's some images. These are flames shooting out of the Shiloh Glen apartment complex near the intersection of Shiloh Road and 32nd Street. According to Billings Fire, the blaze started shortly before 11 a.m. Monday, burning nearly the entire bedroom on the second floor, with the rest of the unit taking on significant smoke damage. Firefighters say one woman who lived in the apartment received minor burns and suffered smoke inhalation while trying to escape. She was rushed to Billings Clinic. And as those flames broke out, firefighters also rushed in to help rescue a feline. These are pictures from that moment as firefighters Matt Miller and Jordan Greenwood teamed up to save the cat, even applying oxygen. Our David J. gets an inside look at the tools available to fire departments across the city when it comes to life-saving measures for our furry loved ones.
Firefighters responded here to the Shiloh Glen apartments. They put out the fire and got everybody out, including the pets, safely, but there was one cat that they feared had carbon monoxide poisoning, so they used the oxygen mask.
The Billings Fire Department arrived around 11 o'clock Monday morning.
I just saw a bunch of black smoke, and so I pulled in to see if everybody was okay, and there was no cars around, no people, just one lady outside the apartment, and so I called 911.
Anna Dye says crews acted quickly.
There was animals coming out. Yeah, it was actually really scary.
And the firefighters searched the apartment and found one cat who had not escaped.
When firefighter Miller brought the cat out, the cat was not doing well. The cat was obviously in distress.
Jordan Greenwood, an engineer for the Billings Fire Department, gave oxygen to the cat, treating the feline similar to a person with carbon monoxide poisoning.
Lots of secretions, very lethargic, panting, labored breathing, respiratory distress, very similar symptoms that you're going to see in a patient.
This is one of the pet oxygen masks they use in times of need.
This goes over the cat's head, or on a dog, canine, it'll just go over the muzzle. The number one way of helping with carbon monoxide poisoning is 100% oxygen provided to the patient, the cat in this case.
Anna Dye did not see the firefighters helping the cat, but knows just how quickly they worked to save all lives.
They were super fast about it, though. Like, I was surprised they got in and out. The flames were out in no time after they showed up, so they did an amazing job.
It's a service that we provide, and so I was happy to do it. It makes you feel good.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
David, thanks so much. And the man charged with involuntary manslaughter in the death of a Sheridan youth hockey coach has been sentenced to up to 6 years in prison. The Sheridan media reports 34-year-old Cody McCullough got into a fight with Patrick Mudd on July 12th over a parking spot at the rodeo, punching Mudd and ultimately causing a deadly brain injury. McCullough claimed self-defense but changed his plea to no contest. Prosecutors agreed not to charge McCullough for other crimes related to this incident. And last week, 5 cases of measles were confirmed in Gallatin County. As of this morning, no new cases have been reported, according to the health department. The cases were first to be recorded in Montana since the 1990s. According to the Gallatin City County Health Department, MMR vaccination rates have declined over the years, and that MMR vaccination remains the most effective way to prevent measles. No changes have been made to the existing MMR vaccine recommendations in the U.S. The health department is holding MMR vaccine clinics this week in the county. On Wednesday at the Gallatin County Fairgrounds building, Building 4, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And on Friday, April 25th, there's going to be another clinic held at the Three Forks Ambulance Bay from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. One Montana police force is in some hot water as more than a dozen officers were caught playing an on-duty crime bingo game. According to Police Chief Jim Veldkamp, where two teams of patrol officers were engaged in a bingo competition with success hinging on whether they completed actions listed on their cards. The officers include multiple categories, ranging from fitness tests between the two sides to putting out a fire before firefighters arrived, to the types of arrests or calls the officers handled. For the police chief, the most concerning squares were ones that could possibly impact how a case or investigation was handled.
Example of one of those was to do a search warrant on a car, which in and of itself, that is part of their duties. The concern is if they manipulated anything in order to be able to search a car.
The chief says the game went on for 12 days until the command staff was made aware and shut it down. He also says 24 cases took place during the game period, but no wrongdoing was found. Some of the officers will be facing disciplinary action for their involvement. And a bill to limit use of bathroom use for transgender Montanans remains in limbo this morning. Montana House Bill 112 now has a temporary restraining order on it, preventing the law from going into effect immediately. MTN's Zach Volheim was at the hearing and has the latest.
On Monday, a Missoula Court district judge extended the temporary restraining order on Montana House Bill 121, a bill that would require individuals to use the bathroom that aligns with their sex assigned at birth. Judge Shane Vanetta heard arguments against HB 121 from the ACLU of Montana, who sought a preliminary injunction against the bill. A preliminary injunction is a temporary court order that maintains the status quo until the court can fully hear the case and make a final decision. Both the ACLU of Montana and the state of Montana agreed to an extension of the temporary restraining order already in place. The plaintiffs, represented by the ACLU of Montana, argued that HB 121 was unconstitutional under Montana's constitution, arguing that the bill specifically discriminates against transgender people and their right to share personal information, a precedent set in a previous case.
The law is intended to marginalize transgender and intersex Montanans, barring them from using public facilities that they've been using without incident for decades. Two, as a result of the law, our clients who are transgender and intersex Montanans will be immediately harmed, and so that's why we had to file an emergency lawsuit to prevent it from going into effect.
The state argued that the bill has not had enough time to play out, and a gathering of facts must first happen before the court can make a final order. The state also argued that the bill aims to protect young women and girls, a protected class in Montana. However, the state offered no evidence that transgender individuals in Montana have assaulted women or girls in bathrooms and acknowledged that HB 121 is not a perfect bill. In a statement to MTN, a spokesperson for the Attorney General stated, Attorney General Knudsen looks forward to defending the duly enacted law, which protects the safety and privacy of women in public places, on its merits. Today's decision was nothing more than a temporary procedural stipulation. In Missoula, I'm Zach Volheim.